we were talking about the phytohormones. You are able to see, Ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking
Yes,
about the
ma'am.
importance of phytohormones for organogenesis. Oh, what is happening? Again, coming this way. Yeah, we're talking about the phytohormones for organogenesis. So it's very simple. From callus, you get the organs, either shoot or root, by just changing the ratio of the auxin cytokinin. This also depends on the kind of explant, kind of medium you're using, and the environmental conditions. Provided normal conditions for tissue culture, you get the 10 is to 1 or 1 is to 100 ratio of auxin and cytokinin, what we were talking about before. This is the auxin cytokinin ratio. Rule of the thumb, that means general rule of from for any differentiation of callus, or rule of the thumb for any organogenesis from callus. This is the rule. Actually, it can be for explant to organogenesis, or from callus to organogenesis. So that is the rule. So generally, high concentration of cytokinin brings about shoot bud initiation. This is all known. High levels of auxin favors rooting. So if you want to go in for organogenesis, it is not so easy. 1:10 auxin na vandrum, or shoot vandrum, or root vandrum la kadayadu. It is different levels of concentration. It might be in the ratio of 1:10. That is the ratio, but the actual amount of auxin which is going into the medium, which is going to what to say induce shooting, you have to optimize it. It is depending on so many other factors. So each you can't say for carrot rooting auxin is this much, cytokinin is this much. Anywhere and everywhere for micropropagation of carrot explant, that is the medium. No, it is not working like that. For every place, for every explant, it changes slightly. So it has to be optimized by each and every experimental procedure. So that is the importance of this. Basic is auxin cytokinin, but the ratio has to be optimized. So that's why they say different permutation combination of hormones as well as various concentrations of hormones. You have to test and see, put it in the medium and see what is the outcome. Only then you come into a conclusion. So that is the importance of organogenesis. So factors affecting organogenesis, I told you, I had already discussed this about callus tissue. Whatever is the genetic nature of the callus tissue, it could be the cells could be having a uniform set of chromosomes. Sometimes the cells, one or two cells, might have a different set of chromosomes. It can be it can be a mixture. Okay, or cryptic chromosomal rearrangements, you will hidden arrangements, you will not even know. It will not been expressed. The change in the chromosomal number will not even be expressed. In that case, we don't know. Some chromosomal later on, when the plantlets, when it is time for organogenesis or embryogenesis, such callus will die. So it is a waste of time. So you don't know. So this is some kind of problem. Actually, you cannot predict this kind of change. Genetic change cannot be predicted. You can't be sitting with a microscope and seeing whether the cell, this callus, has a polyploid nature or it has an aneuploid nature. You can't do that. You have to wait for the callus to develop. If the callus develops normally, fine. If the callus doesn't develop normally, it could be one of the reasons of these things. It can lead to loss of totipotency. So any case, in mostly when they have seen during their research that mostly during the early stages they exhibit maximum number of diploid cells, because this callus is nothing but over multiplication. So during over multiplication, a cell divides many times. So the rate of cell division and the rate of nuclear division may not be in a uniform pace. Normally, when the DNA will divide, DNA replicates, then the cell divides. So this is a normal phase in a mitotic division. So DNA, before the cell divides, the nuclear material divides. But when there is an imbalance in this, when the cell divides, or I mean, the rate of cell division is less than the rate of nuclear division. It is not, I mean, when the rate of cell division is not keeping in pace with the rate of nuclear division, then it leads to polyploidy. So each cell will have two sets of chromosomes. The DNA will divide, already it will divide before the cell divides, and then it will again redivide. So nuclear material may divide twice before the cell divides once. So it leads to polyploidy. So this kind of things they have seen in callus culture. That is why it is unorganized. It is not an organized. It doesn't follow the cell cycle properly. We have a cell cycle at exactly at that time limit, time of that hour, the DNA divides, that there is a gap of some minutes, and then the cell divides. Now the gap, no, there is a problem in this gap. The gap gets disturbed. So when the gap phase is not there, then it leads to polyploidy. So sometimes, it might also be mixaploid. I told you, you can't say whether it is a triploid or a diploid or a quadruploid. It will be mixaploid. So alteration of chromosome number and organogenesis will not be induced in such callus tissue. So in that case, if a rooting is not developing, even though the media is okay, that means there is some problem with the genetic or a physiological change. So this is a summary. Process of initiation or development of an organ means the development of adventitious organs or primordia. So organogenesis is development of the primordia to develop the shoot or the root. This is called meristemoid. This primordia is called meristemoid from the undifferentiated cell mass. Okay. So what is the basic concept? Basic concept is dedifferentiation. By the process of dedifferentiation, the explant cells undergo division, rapid division, to produce primordia or meristemoids. So that involves dedifferentiation and redifferentiation. Again, it becomes a permanent tissue. So it dedifferentiates, a permanent tissue dedifferentiates to become meristematic, and then they again become permanent. So they undergo redifferentiation. So dedifferentiation begins shortly after the isolation of explant tissues with an acceleration of cell division forming callus. Again, redifferentiation is called budding in plant tissue culture, may begin any time after the first callus cells forms. We will not be able to be sure, but first callus cells form, it cannot be seen anyway. We will not be able to see. We can see redifferentiation only when the organogenesis, is visible. You can visualize it. Only then we can see. But they say that redifferentiation begins when the first callus cells forms. In this process, the tissue called organ primordia is differentiated from a single or a group of callus cells. So organ primordia give rise to small meristems with cells densely filled with protoplasm and strikingly large nuclei. So such cells which are going to function as the meristemoids, or they are going to give rise to the shoot meristem or the root meristem, the cells, the callus cells of such primordia will have larger nuclei and the protoplasm. So like this, you will find the callus, you can see a number of primordia here. You can see a number of primordia here. We will not be able to make out, depending on the auxin constant cytokinin ratio in the medium, you will know that it is a root primordia or a shoot primordia. So that is about the callus culture and organogenesis. Okay, so we will tomorrow we will see embryogenesis, girls. Okay, so I will
Yes, ma'am.
put this material
Okay,
in the
ma'am.
classroom. You can access it anytime.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma. See you. I'll just give you the attendance. You fill it up and send.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma.
Thank you,
Okay, ma.